Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Aho here with KissAnalog. Guys, I found a notebook. I've been cleaning out my garage and I was going through a box of books and lab notebooks and things like that. And I picked up this one and I remembered it. Solar, wind, electric power. So yes, I wanted to get into electric vehicles some years ago. And I'm going to show you. My wife looked at this and she goes, wow, you invented the Cybertruck. I'm going to show you this book, show you what she's talking about, okay? It's kind of cool. And then I'm going to come back with kind of the moral of the story and, what has made me think about how to carry this channel forward. So let's jump into this book. Hey guys, check out this book, Solar, Wind, Electric Power. Here, let me just show you this thing. So I had worked out about everything about this car. So check out this date, March 25, 96. I'm in March right now. I'm pretty close to that. So that is crazy, right? Recycling cars. So I talked about the weight of the car before conversion. Lighter is better, obviously. Battery space is required to convert to electric. Manual transmission might work better. The range, 60 to 80 miles. High performance, 8100. Speed, 65 miles. High performance, 90. Horsepower. And then I talked about electric cars. It's rated differently. And cruising speed, charging time. Batteries, 16 to 20, 67 pounds each. Cost about $50 to $75 each. Now remember the time period. Kits cost $5,500. It requires some fabrication time, 200 to 300 hours, or an $8,000 kit for 40 hours. Okay, maintenance cost. So a third of the cost to operate before. So, converting to electric could be a third of the cost because batteries do need replacing every 3 to 4 years. Motor brushes need changing every 80,000 miles, I thought. And here's a kit company. Current required 100 to 200 amps for cruising, 400 for acceleration, and some battery stuff. And I talked about how to charge and so on. 6-volt batteries, actually 6.3 volts, specific gravity, using distilled water, fully charged 96 volts, but it would actually read 103 volts. That's with it not loaded like most batteries are. They always float charge higher. Batteries prefer warm weather, of course. Tires alignment affect performance most, so check tire pressure. All right, then look at this speed controller. Now this is April that I continued this. History, first controller. So I kind of did some research. Series parallel switching, 24 volt to 48 volt. Second is resistance ladder or stepped resistance. Third is SCR used as a chopper, 0.02 kilohertz to 0.4 kilohertz. And fourth is transistors with PWM, 2 kilohertz, developed by this Frank Wiley and Rick Barline, 1970s with Steve Post. Then I have some information about, just because where I got the research from. I talk about the MOSFETs and, or IGBTs. AC motors, slightly more efficient, but complicated controllers. Same with brushless DC motors, permanent magnetic and other types, and then a pot box. So a 0 to 15K pot for the throttle. So pretty simple control there. Okay, gauges and their use. So I talked about the ammeter and how much current, different kinds, and I'll just kind of go through this kind of quick, but fully state of charge gauge, and I just kind of talked about different kind of gauges and how they work, and accessory battery gauge, tachometer, different types of tachometers. Okay, then chargers. Old chargers were heavy, 70 pounds. You know, new switching chargers are 10 pounds. And talk about the voltage and the current, safety features, isolation, noise filters, low voltage system, solar cells, and then cables. Use welding cable, 2-aught welding cable for flexible, and then isolation of the packs. Maybe using Belleville washers, question mark. So aerodynamics and the performance, and talk about, you know, measuring the height before you install the kit to make sure the front, the rear height doesn't change much, so it doesn't change the car aerodynamics. And talk about friction rolling resistance for electric cars, air pressure alignment, Goodyear tires, the GAL or GLR or Invicta. Also check bearings and transmission fluid. Then we get into aerodynamics and talk about how it's a matter of velocity squared. So faster you go, a lot more resistance. So a typical subcompact expends 35% of its energy overcoming aerodynamics drag. So talk about the form, the shape of it, and how the importance of the front of the car for drag, the front and the rear are just as important as each other. Ground clearance, use spoilers, trapped air, ride height, pickups, you know, some flares. So yeah, I kind of get into all the aerodynamics there. And then the goals of the electric car, you know, and I talk about maybe starting off a 2-seat sports car. And, you know, this is for commuting and getting around town and getting around, just, you know, having an inexpensive vehicle, the electric operated. So yeah, just talk about the range, 100 miles. So yeah, the, you know, range 100, speed 90 miles an hour. So not too crazy, right? Okay, now here's where I kind of get into some suspension, and I'm kind of drawing some different kind of ideas. And here's a car. Now you kind of show the batteries could be in the front, the bubble around the driver here, or maybe something like this with batteries in the back with you know, a typical windshield here and a rear window here, and kind of the shape, right? Now look, I also have all, oh, that was kind of funny, that was kind of thrown in there, but electromotive stuff here. I've got some pamphlets. I got conversion kits that I picked up. This is the one I was really interested in, the Porsche one. But yeah, so just picked up all this stuff about electric cars and so on. And there's a date on the mail just showing that, yeah, this all happened back then. Now let me show you my final drawings. What does that look like? And the funny thing is I got 3 tires. Now I got the back option where it's kind of a teardrop, or the square back. I showed that to my wife and she said, wow, you did a Cybertruck. That's pretty cool. All right, what do you think? That's kind of crazy, huh? It's kind of funny. I guess there's only so many ways to try to make things wind resistant. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. Some of the things that I thought of and that I, you know, kind of researched back 30 years ago, I've been able to use in my more recent job. So I'll talk to you guys about that in weeks to come. Okay. So anyway, I think, well, here, the moral of the story I said I was going to tell you, don't be just a dreamer. Don't 30 years go by and not follow up with your dreams. I wanted to build electric cars. I thought I could get what we call donor cars back then. You know, these little Porsche 914s that have a lot of space for batteries. That was back in lead acid battery days. And I thought I'd get a kit, make some money doing that, and then get to the point where I could get people to help me design frames, you know, get a mechanical engineer with all the bicycle technology that was going on back then, composites and metals, all the aluminum frames that were coming out. I thought, hey, we could make a lightweight electric car. So, and then that's about as far as it went. So just turned out to be a fantasy of mine. But yeah, so guys, if you got ideas, if there's things you want to do, follow through. Really, it's important to do that. You know, I was thinking about a Japanese philosopher I read about a long time ago. And even though I believed in what he said, I never followed through. I'm admittedly a terrible business guy, more of an engineer. So, but what this Japanese, from what I remember, okay, this is years ago, but he talked about the stages in your life and your career and how you can make your life full. And he said, you know, in your 20s, you go, you know, work as a journeyman or something like that under somebody else, or go to university, whatever, and learn a trade of some type, okay? And then, you know, in your 30s, you apply that trade, you become an expert, and then in your 40s, you move on. You know, instead of working for someone else, you move on so that you can control your life, and you're not, you know, at the mercy of an employer. And so in your 40s, you build a business, and then your 50s, you know, you're making money on that business. Eventually you sell it so that at your 60s and the rest of half your life, you can enjoy your life. You'll have the money from that business. And yeah, so I thought that was pretty smart if you can do that. So these days, I think younger people, they see more of the YouTubers making, they see more of the entrepreneurs, right? But yeah, that's why people like Steve Jobs isn't, you know, and Elon Musk are so important, because their dreams are not just that they want to build an electric car, but they want to build a business. They want to, you know, change the world. And so I feel like, you know, maybe Elon Musk did, because he started that whole electric car business. He maybe didn't start it, but he kind of made it blow up because he kind of opened it up. I felt like the big three, you know, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, they kind of held things back, and because they like selling oil filters and spark plugs and so on. But you know, Elon Musk come by and made it so it's a popular thing that even though there's others out there, it just kind of blew it up. I feel like he kind of did that. But whether you agree with that part of it or not, and especially because he became more of a political figure, that's maybe not as popular. Some people don't like him now. But anyway, the point is people like him, Steve Jobs, you know, there's a lot of others. They just take technology or whatever it is, and they create a big business, and they basically change the world, right? And so whether they change, you know, whether you want to change the world or just whether you just want to make yourself a good, stable, secure place in the world where like your finances and all that are secure, where you're not relying on somebody else, you know, it might be important to follow up on your dreams, where don't let them turn into just fantasies. But yeah, there you go. Cybercar 30 years ago. All right, guys. Yeah, as far as this channel goes, it makes me want to start sharing more of my experience. My field of expertise is in power supply or power design. And so I'm going to start doing more power supply projects. We're going to start right away, get some PCB boards done. I started a project last year, never really got it done. So we're going to kick that back in gear and get some projects done. Okay. So yeah, we'll figure out how to turn what I've learned into maybe some money. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button. Free way to support the channel. If you want to support me, you can join the Patreon. That'll be linked down below. Appreciate my Patreon members and my YouTube members. Danny for being a team member. But yeah, you can join, be a Patreon member. They take a little less out of it. So appreciate that. And hit that super thank you button if you like to. But yeah, just hit the like button. Subscribe. That would help a lot and help me grow and support the channel, support me, so I can keep on doing this channel. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. And yeah, dream, but don't just let it be a fantasy. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.